Hello, I'm the Dudley Bug, and today I'm going to be talking about the Dudley Devil. Where am I? I'm actually at St Andrew's Church in Netherton, actually in the graveyard. For those of you that don't know, Netherton is about a mile south of Dudley Town Centre, and for my money, Netherton is about as black country as you can get. Okay, so the Dudley Devil. His real name was Theophilus Dunn, and he was born in 1788. We do know that he was baptised on the 25th of the 12th, 1788, Christmas Day, up at St Thomas's Church in Dudley. St Thomas's is generally known as Top Church locally. We also know that he married a local wench, Hannah Priest, on the 25th of April 1810. Now, both these dates predate, obviously, 1815. And 1815 was the date that the new Top Church in Dudley was rebuilt and opened. So he would have been baptised and married in the former Top Church. So his name was Theophilus Dunn, and he was described in his later years as having long white hair and a white beard, and wore, quote, a tall white hat. I don't know what they mean by that, maybe a stovepipe hat or something like that. And locally, in his later years, he was known as Old Offie. Why was he called the Dudley Devil? Because he spent all of his life living and operating in Netherton. I suppose it was probably because the Dudley Devil has got more of a ring to it than something like the Windmill End Wizard or whatever. More of a ring to it, because he used to occasionally appear in stories in newspapers, not just locally, but nationally. That's why he's called the Dudley Devil, but why call him the Devil? It's difficult to describe exactly who he was or what he was. In America, he would have been called a snake oil salesman. I'll go into that later. He was a fortune teller, an astrologer. So in some societies, he might have been thought of as a shaman or a witch doctor. For instance, he used to sell toothache charms for a shilling, 5p in new money. And he would read horoscopes. He would find lost property for people. And customers would come from many miles away. One report said 50 or 60 miles away to pay for his services. Here's another example of his wizardry. A Lichfield farmer lost a cow. And again, the devil was consulted. And he said that not to worry, because the cow was tied up awaiting a reward. And it would be found in the shippen. Shippen is an old word meaning like a cow or sheep pen. When they went back to look for this cow, apparently it was back in the shippen, and it also had cord marks around its neck as if it had been tied up somewhere, just like the devil had said. Didn't always get it right. Another story that I've heard was that a lady came to see him because she knew her husband had got a fancy woman, as we say around here, and the devil said not to worry about that. He gave her a package that she had to put in her husband's coat, and that would bring him back to her. Unfortunately, epic fail. The man divorced her and married the other woman. How much he would charge for all of his services, I don't know. As I said, apart from the toothache cure, that was a shilling. But he must have done pretty well out of it, I think. There was another local character around about the same time called the Tipton Slasher. Real name William Perry. He was a bare knuckle boxer, and he was actually English champion for 7 years. Now, at one point in his life, the devil said that and I'll use the local dialect here. You'll get all you'll get in one go. Tom Little will make it come true. In other words, what he was saying to the Tipton Slasher is, all that punishment you've handed out, you're going to get it all back in one match. Now, he referred to a bloke called Tom Little, and the Tipton Slasher eventually lost his title to a fellow called Tom Sayer in 1857. Coincidence? I'll let you decide that. Having said that, the Tipton Slasher died in 1851, and the Tom Sayer fight wasn't until 1857. So it was certainly not a kind of up-to-date prediction. He actually died on the 9th of October 1851, which would have made him 63 years old. I have seen a copy of the death certificate, and it does say strangulation by hanging himself whilst in a state of insanity at Bumble Hole. Now, this is where it gets a bit vague. I've seen some stories that say that he hung himself from the rafter upstairs in his house using a silk scarf. Other people believe that he hung himself from one of the canal bridges down Bumble Hole. I'd probably go with the killing himself at home scenario. Another story says that the reason he committed suicide was he predicted his own death, and he didn't want to be wrong in a prediction, so he promptly topped himself. Maybe. So there we are, that's the Dudley Devil. Did he have real supernatural powers? Who knows? But one thing we can be certain of, he was very successful and very well known within the region and nationally as well. He certainly made a good living out of it. My personal view, for what it's worth, he was just a very good showman. But there you are. I was walking down towards the exit to give up yet again, and I looked to my left, and suddenly I thought, you know what? I think I found it. So I'll actually do some stills now for you as well to show you his grave. Now, this is the family monument. This is why I couldn't find it, because the picture I was looking at wasn't actually a tombstone. It was an inscription on the side of the family monument. As you come in via the entrance, it's actually just about 15 yards, 20 yards up on the right. So there we are. That's the end of my first video regarding the Dudley Devil. I'm starting up a new YouTube channel called The Dudley Bug. And this is the first of many I've got in the pipeline. All the videos will have a kind of historical context to them. And they won't all be walking around in graveyards. And there definitely won't be any talking about ghosts. Sorry about that. So there we are. Hope you've enjoyed it. Any comments, drop them in the bottom, and I'll see you on the next one. And as we say around here, keep out the Osh Road.